Hey gang, Fletch here. I hope you're doing well. Today I want you to know that the gospel provides rest from all your burdens, anxieties, and fears because the gospel is founded upon the character of God. This is the God, the great I am, the sustainer of all things, ruler over the entire universe and everything else. The gospel says that God is taking what is broken beyond our ability to fix it and fixing it himself. The gospel is God taking our sinfully dead hearts and bringing them back to life through the life, death, and resurrection and reign of Jesus Christ. So there are three attributes of God we want to talk about today. First one is simply this: God is an all-powerful God. Psalm 91, 1 and 2 says this: "He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will abide in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say to the Lord, my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust." The Almighty is a term that means possession of all power and authority. Nothing is more powerful than God. The second attribute is that God is an all-knowing God. You see, God knows all things all at once. Now that alone should blow your mind. And God acts. He doesn't just react to situations. Wayne Grudem in his systematic theology puts it this way: God is always fully aware of everything. If he should wish to tell us the number of grains of sand on the seashore or the numbers of stars in the sky, he would not have to count them all quickly like some kind of giant computer, nor would he have to call the number to mind because it was something that he had not thought about for a while. Rather, he always knows all things at once. All of these facts and all other things that he knows are always fully present in his consciousness. He does not have to reason to conclusions or ponder carefully before he answers, for he knows the end from the beginning, and he never learns and he never forgets anything. Again, that's Wayne Grudem from his book Systematic Theology. This obviously means that God knows everything about you. He knows all about your burdens, all about your fears, and all about your anxieties. And Matthew 10 tells us that God knows how many hairs are on your head. The point being that if he knows that amount of detail about you, then he also knows and cares about the other more pressing matters of your life. Psalm 139 makes this really clear. "O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You discern my thoughts from afar. You search out my path and my lying down. You are acquainted with all my ways. Even before a word is on my tongue, behold, O Lord, you know it altogether. You hem me in, behind and before, and lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high, I cannot attain it." Again, that's Psalm 139. So we see that God knows everything about us: burdens, fears, anxieties, thoughts, actions, all of it, and he cares deeply about us. That's the good news of the gospel, that he's come to care for us and to walk through this messy life with us. Now this leads us to the third attribute, that God is an all-present God. We always need someone with us, and no matter what your situation, you can know without a doubt that God is with you. The attribute that God is always present means that God is present with his whole being in every part of space. Now, this should encourage you when you feel alone and abandoned and when you feel afraid or burdened or anxious. So these three attributes, that God is all-powerful, that God is all-knowing, and that God is always present with us, should encourage your hearts today. Listen to those gospel truths about who God is, how he's come to help you today, how he wants to encourage your hearts and lift you up and sanctify you. The gospel is here because we have a loving Creator who desires this intimate relationship with us. So I encourage you, live in that relationship today. Well, I hope this helps, and don't forget, the gospel changes everything.